Okay, let's get started. It's kind of exciting to have guests from all over the world. That's one advantage of Zoom, anyone can join and we can share work from our members worldwide, which is never would have happened otherwise. So it's a real plus for sure. I'm Marie, by the way, and this is hosted by Arts on the Credit. We have a virtual gallery on our website. It's artsonthecredit.ca. You can visit anytime, night or day, and there's always an exhibition showing. Usually it changes monthly. Sometimes it's an individual artist like Thaniath is showing this month. Sometimes it's a group show. Next month will be a group show. So there's a variety of artists showing their work next month. And then we're into a new year. So this is the second year that we've hosted the gallery on the website. And it came about, of course, because of COVID. And we needed a place for the artists to exhibit work. And this came about. And it's just stayed on because it's such an advantage to everyone. She's calling her exhibition Untold Stories, and you can just click on her image and that will take us into the gallery. There we go. Arts in the Credit Gallery, Untold Stories. But we're going to hear about those stories today. As you build layer upon layer, you're not just adding textures to your paintings, but layers of stories that hold mysteries to touch your deeper instincts. Welcome to Thaniath's Untold Stories. And here we go. By each painting, you'll see all the details about it, the title, the size, and the media, and the cost if it's for sale. So Thaniath, tell us a little about our very first painting.
Hey, so good morning, everyone, and good evening to some of you who are joining from the other part of the world. I am Thaniath Siddiqui. I'm a mixed media artist, a very abstract artist. And before I start, I want to thank Arts on the Credit for giving me this platform. And Arts on the Credit is a nonprofit organization, and they do a couple of amazing shows and arts drive, and I just joined a couple of years back and very happy to be here. So if you haven't joined them, please join them. So I'll start with this painting. As I said, I am a mixed media artist. I love adding textures to it. This piece is called Hopeful Horizon. And when I start painting, I start by choosing my colors, and that is maybe the basic thing I take. And everything just comes from my mind very intuitively, something that I have seen earlier or something I have seen just recently. Sometimes tools inspire me, like, maybe a fork for that day or a hairpin for that day. And I'll use that to create layers and layers. If you see the initial layers, you'll be quite surprised and you'll say, oh my God, what is she up to? But eventually it comes together. So this piece is called Hopeful Horizon. And it is actually hanging for a year at the Legislative Assembly of Ontario. So I was very thrilled when it was accepted. So everybody can go and view it. It's available. It's hanging on in a room called the Camera Room, and all visitors can go. And it's a tea room, coffee room. So yeah, very thrilled to have it there, really.
Congratulations. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
How did that come about, Thania?
They have this artist call going on, And
Okay.
I had applied 3 years back. I had a piece there. Then I just applied again, and they accepted it. So was really happy about it because it stays in a very prestigious place for a whole year to show.
That's awesome. Yes,
Yeah.
for sure. Do you like, how do you begin? Well, I know what you told us, but do you have a final image in mind when you start, or does it evolve?
It evolves. It really
Hmm.
evolves. And I
Okay.
wouldn't know what I would be painting in the end. But for example, this piece, which is Meet
Mm-hmm.
Me at Sunset,
Mm-hmm.
is actually done live. It was done in Arts by the Yard that Art Trends had organized. Chris was there too. So I went there with this piece with a lot of texture behind it already, like it had a lot of, coarse material and things. And I started painting in front of an audience. And what I would say that inspired me was the audience that was watching me. The energy that was coming through them, I was using that on this painting. I knew I wanted to do a fall theme. So those were just my colors that I kept on my table and a few tools. And I wouldn't know even before which tools I'm going to use. So it's always on the go. So
Wow.
it's a very meditative process. So while you are in this process, anything can be inspiring you, the music, the ambience, the people, or my tools, or the colors. And I was surprised myself that I could achieve something with so many people around me and so on.
Yeah.
But it's one of those pieces, I suppose it just had to happen.
Yes, and then because usually it's so stressful and there's so many distractions in a situation like that.
Yes, yes. But
Hmm.
looks like I enjoy painting in front of people then.
So, what else do you use beside paint?
I use paper, a lot of paper that
Okay.
I have collected over the years. And
Mhm.
I was born in India, and then I lived in north of Africa while I was growing up. And I think the Mediterranean water really influenced me. You'll see a lot of paintings afterwards that have a lot of blues and things like that. And then I
Mhm.
moved to the Gulf, and while I was in the Middle East, I traveled a lot with my husband. He was an auditor in an airline, so we got lots of tickets. So we used to go around. So I saw all these different cultures, and the views and the landscapes from all different countries. And I think that's what I try to put in my paintings. It would not
Sure.
be a specific place, it would be a feel of a place. So that's what I
Yeah.
try to achieve. But if you might think this place belongs to a different place, another person comes and says, no, this looks like a place from back home. So it has different vibes for different people. So, so what
Interesting.
materials I use
Mm.
is I use paper, I use gesso, I use coarse textures that you get. Anything really would inspire me to put on it.
Can everybody make sure they're muted, please?
Yeah, someone needs to mute. Mhm. Oh, that was very vivid.
Yeah,
Lovely.
so as you can see, it's a very sunset scene. Now, I do observe a lot of these landscapes in our drives. We drive around, we go to Barrie, we go to Oakville, and I love the Derry Road. I live very close to Derry in Mississauga, and that road has these beautiful fields. And as you just drive in the morning or during sunset, I look at those and I really gaze at it. and I just come back, and one of those days that image will be in my mind. I start off with these oranges, and this is how it would come. It is on paper, and it's a small piece, but it's framed on a 12 by 12 frame. So it looks pretty cute, and it belongs to somebody who's watching today. She's put it, she has a beautiful home, and she came and picked up these paintings matching to her decor. So it looks beautiful in her house.
Do you do a lot of photography at all, or is it just remember?
No, I do a lot of photography, and I love making reels on Instagram with those photographs. So I have. Can you mute them?
Yeah, I'm going to mute everybody, but then you'll have to unmute yourself probably, because I just muted everyone.
Okay, you can hear me?
I can still hear you. Okay.
Okay, so that's good. So this is one of the, I would say, a mixed media piece. And I have used a lot of paper here. The green parts that are in the fields are all paper. So I try to get a little bit of a 3D effect here. So instead of using paint strokes, I would use the paper. I make my own paper, and I would kind of keep them in, segregate them with colors. So if I needed a green piece, I go collect a green piece and, start painting over it and so on. I have collected a lot of handmade paper as I have traveled, and I just love that texture. If somebody uses it, they would know that a handmade paper just merges itself into the canvas. You can hardly feel it, and it's a beautiful way to work with. So I have a lot of that stuff that I keep using, building layers again. But I think adding these delicate papers would be my last touches. They would, so that they can be seen.
Right.
Yeah.
Sherry wonders how you make your papers.
I make them a lot using tissues, and I would put more paper on it, make it thicker, or keep it translucent. I would crush them up to give them all those little ripples and everything. I would stain them. So there's so many ways of making your own paper. And then I collect them in big sheets. I cut them up. I have a huge chunk of it. The smallest piece will also be treasured. So I don't throw even a little bit of piece.
Yes. Yes, I know what you mean. I have a shoebox of the little pieces.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. It's fun, just painting the papers, you know?
Yeah.
You can use almost any kind of paper.
Any kind of paper, absolutely. Yeah.
Oh, this is very different, Thaniath.
Yes, this is something new I tried last year. And I have done a series of florals in this way. This is a big piece, but the feedback I got was really good. So I said, okay, maybe I should explore this style. So I've done a few in this style. It's representational kind of thing, like I represent a flower or an animal or something, trees or something. So it's not as abstract as I want it to be. It's a little bit, has a form to it. But this is a lot of work goes behind it. So the base takes a lot of time. It's the textures and the stamping. I love stamping. I love stenciling. So all my material would be scattered. I'm a very messy painter. It would be scattered around, and then I would pick as my mood, feels. I'd stamp, I would stencil, I would add textures, and then I would build a shape to it, or a flower or a bird or whatever. This piece
Mhm.
is called The Birds of Hope. And this was done to thank the frontline workers. And this was a commissioned piece by Asma Masood. And she had done this as an outdoor exhibition, and a lot of us had submitted for this. So it was a very nice collective effort, and it gave us a really great feeling to do something for them and say thank you in our own way.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, so as I thought I'll add in, as you see, mostly I have done landscapes. And the story behind this is that 3 years back, I was diagnosed with cancer. And at that time, of course, everyone comes up with questions, why me, why and how, and blah, blah, blah. So whatever. So at that point in my deepest moments, I think I started to lean towards gratitude and really practicing it at a different level, right? Writing your journals and things just to keep me grounded. And as I was
Right.
practicing my, gratitude, I started observing my nature around me, and that's when I think I got they say the artist voice or something. So that's when I felt I found my style. I wanted to be close to this nature. I wanted to paint this. So, that's what I say, stories behind an artist is that life experiences mold the way you paint. And I think this was my biggest transition, where I found a voice. I found a place that helped me, healed me. So these are all these landscapes. They're mostly painted in the last 3 years or so. Some of them are older pieces. So this is again another piece, a familiar ground. And if somebody asks me what inspired me, it was that brown paper there. I love that brown paper I had collected. And I said I want to do a landscape with it. So that was it. It was winter time, a little bit of blues and whites. I play with it, and I, produce this work.
That's interesting that you started with the paper.
Yes, yeah, I did. I love paper, but at some point it becomes very difficult to frame. It's expensive. So I have done mostly smaller works in paper, so it's easier for me to frame and it's affordable for people to buy. But the
Right.
bigger ones, of course, I can do in canvas. Like this one is a good size, 16 by 22 inches. And
Yeah.
what I feel is, and I try to achieve in my painting, is that when I paint, it should touch somebody's like deeper instinct, in the sense they just feel connected to a painting. And this is what
Yes.
exactly happened with this painting. I had painted this in a group, and already it had a lot of textures, and I finished the painting while I was in this group. I put it back in my wall. We were on Zoom, and one of my friend who was in this painting together, she said, I want this. It just connects me. I keep looking it through the Zoom, but I want it in my home. So that's how I sold it. So, that's my achievement, is just to touch somebody's, they really want it then. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. No, that's the best way.
Yeah, that's the best. So this was painted just after I had come back from Dubai. I was very close to the water. I was sitting in the beaches, and the water was just in my mind. And I came back, and it's worked on a 16 by 16 inches. And this piece also has the same story. I made it. I had not even varnished it, and my nephew was visiting from Dubai. He looked at it at home, in my home. He said, I'm just packing and taking it. So, it just flew away. Yeah. So So I did a few of this very different style. Again, this is on paper, and
Mhm,
I got a very good feedback with this. So I started
mhm,
painting a bit more. Now, what really inspired me, if anybody asked me, was the Indian ink. I started playing around with the Indian ink, and mark making is a big thing for me because I let the marks, the pencil marking or the brush marking guide me into the painting. I let it flow. I work wet on wet, I work dry on wet and different techniques. So as
mhm,
the paint makes the flow and the line work, I would create my painting. So if anybody
mhm,
asked me, what is your guiding line? It's the way the paint flows. And like the drips, I did a few, but I don't know where they're going to drip. So as they drip, I
mhm,
make my, my landscape, or I give it more of a line work. I define some lines more. So this is a mixed media. It has the blue paper that is made by me and a few other
mhm.
papers. So yeah, so I did write a little poetry with it. It's 2, 3 lines. Can I share it with you all?
Oh, please, yes.
Okay, so this is again a new venture. I write a few words with a lot of my paintings. So this is called A Monsoon Morning. So a cup in my hand, a drop on the chair. I sit on my porch, gazing at the wetlands, nurturing the soil beneath. So that's the feel I wanted the viewers to have. And that's where the
Mhm,
title came from.
mhm.
And it's
It's very
sold.
interesting. I find it interesting that you seem to let the painting almost work itself. It
Yes,
almost tells you what it's going to do,
yes,
you know.
yeah.
Yeah, such a control freak that that would be almost impossible for me to work that way. I'd like to, but
Yeah.
yeah, I would find that difficult.
So this one again is in the same style, the same colors.
Mhm. Yeah.
I work with a few, if I'm working on paper, I would work 3 or 4 papers together because I am in that mood and with the same color palette. And again, as I let things move, they are telling me what they want to become almost.
Mhm. Mhm.
So some areas I let dry and I'll work again, but mostly they're done at one go in cases like this, in paintings like this. So this one too, I have a little few words. If you all want, I can share it.
Yes.
So this is a Paddy Field Poems. Poems are made when heart reaches out to nature, feeling the ripples in the water while dancing with the tall stalks. So again, here it's the water effect I wanted to give, and the play of the mountains behind it. And yeah, and it's
Mhm.
sold. So very happy about it.
Yes. Do you have to use a special paper when you're using the inks?
No, you can use your cold press watercolor paper or mixed media
Okay.
paper. So
Okay.
yeah,
Because they would react differently on different paper, I
yes,
suspect.
yes, it does. It depends on the
Yeah.
texture of the paper, and it
Yeah.
would.
'Cause I,
Um,
yeah.
so here I would say I was in a little bit of, um, you know, pink color highlighted. So I did quite a
Mhm.
few, and I just loved the pink. I wanted to play with it and started playing with it again. As you can see, I have a lot of meadows always in my, landscapes. It's because I see them in my drives. I love the shapes that they make in the horizon,
Mhm.
the slant and the straight, and and they all kind of blend together when you put it together in a painting or something. So I would say, again, I don't know where this place is, but it would hit somebody and say, oh, I have seen the place, something like this. And
Yes.
a bit of whimsical sometimes I get with the pink and my whimsical clouds and so on, because I want to make it a little out of the box kind of thing. A little different from a usual cloud maybe, or a usual landscape or something. So
I love that sky though.
so this series is very interesting. I did around 9 pieces, and I'm happy to say all 9 are sold. And they are
Wow.
not very big, but the process behind this, again, that inspired me is, again, the Indian ink and alcohol ink. And you know how people say if you have a performance of a dance performance, you need to practice and you get that one try. So sometimes when I'm working in 6, 8 small pieces, I would have practiced somehow, and then I feel I have that one go at these paintings, and I paint in a speed that no one can imagine. I would be just engrossed here. And I would say the reason why I do it in speed is because I play a lot with mark making on wet paint, and I also use the drips. So you can't wait. You need to be working really fast. So I work with sometimes both hands, and then yeah, so it's a performance. Sometimes I feel I'm at a performance and I have 6, 8 pieces to finish in that 1 hour or something.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So this is a little different. It's abstract. It's an older piece. And this was, it's a commission piece, and a friend of mine wanted me to make a piece that reflected her climb to the mountains. So I kind of used the colors of what she would have seen when she's up in the mountain, the sun and the clouds and the sky, and and my mark making is very important here for me, because I use these mountain, shapes, the triangular, and some areas are rough to show the rough rides that, the climb that she had. So put together, this was done for her. And then I got another commission to do with the same color palette, and it is now hanging in one of the Daniels Corporation building in Mississauga. So it was a much bigger piece. So it's called Serenity. So it's something that I felt if someone is, up in the mountains gazing, what is it that they will see and feel? So that's what I felt I tried to put on this canvas here. So this is called Beneath the Light, an abstract piece. This is an older piece again, and here I was in that phase, using a lot of mystical fog, misty kind of look here. Again, it's abstract. So I let the colors and everything guide me here. It's a larger piece. I did quite a few of them also. And very happy that one of the person here, Ifat, who is here with us, bought this piece and has it in her beautiful home.
It just draws you in. Yeah.
Thank you.
So before you started this piece, you had chosen colors, had you?
Yes. I get very adventurous with colors, so I try to stick to 3 or 4. So, and then I put the rest back. I said, no, that's too much. Let's just take 3, 4 colors, and then I mix. Sometimes I mix on the canvas because I'm doing it so fast, they mix on their own. And sometimes I mix separately.
Oh, this is quite different, Danny.
Yes, this is very different. This I would say a pure mixed media piece. And I love doing such kind of pieces, but they take an extremely long time because, and I want to share the story behind this is Kala, who's here, had initiated an exhibition called Behind the Gulabi Chashma. It means behind the rosy sunglasses. And we, a group of artists got together to share stories of immigration, of immigrant women. So what I did is, instead of just sharing my own story, I chose few very prominent in the sense who migrated and made a great life of for themselves in Canada. So I interviewed them. I chose a monument that belonged to the country they came from, and I used their bits and pieces. Like for this one is, I'm showing a story of a lady called Shazia Ahmed. She's a movie maker, very famous. She has it in Netflix. So I went and interviewed her. She gave me all her bits and pieces that I could use as collage. She comes from Delhi, so I chose Taj Mahal. And I put those bits and pieces, sharing her story. I wrote an article and she wrote an article, and we posted that along with the painting. So this is something very different, but I loved doing it because I got to know her and I wanted to show her story through my art.
Wonderful. That is quite a story.
Yeah, so it was interesting.
So was there an exhibition related to that?
Yes, yes. Kala had organized it. It was in the, I think it's the Art Gallery or something in Etobicoke. Kala would know more about it. But it went very well. Yeah, people sold pieces and everything. So it was wonderful. It was a great way of showing what everyone went through, their stories.
Yes, absolutely.
A connection to the community. So it was really good.
Yes, yeah.
So this again is very different. I kept a few different pieces to show that I do a lot of landscape, but I do a little bit of different work as well. So this comes from, again, the one I had done for the frontline workers. It's in the same technique that I used, but this time I used a horse. Horses were something that I started my sketching with. It was a challenge I had taken, and I had sketched a lot of horses. But this was perhaps the first time that I wanted to paint one. I wanted to challenge myself. So I painted this called Standing Strong. It was exhibited in galleries around here in Mississauga. You know, I quite like this style. I might do a few more of these, but they take a long time too.
So the background, I'm just curious.
Yeah, sure.
Does the background go in last?
No, the background is what I would work almost my, you know, and I let it loose. I have no clue where I should put my white or black or green or anything. I let it loose. That's, I think, the trick about getting that abstract look and the free flow. And then you start defining, and then I would work on it again. So there are different layers happening.
Wow.
But the best part is letting yourself loose. That's the best part.
Yes. So you didn't place your stencils and stamps in those particular places after painting the horse?
I did before and after as well. So I would have done it before
Okay.
quite a bit, but a lot
Yes.
would go away because you have done another layer to hide few things, areas. And then I would start doing it all, some of them highlighted and things with pens and inks and things, wherever I want to a little bit in the end.
Yes, yes.
So this again is a mixed media piece, and this is a commissioned piece. And it belongs to Ishrat, who's here, and she had specified exact shapes and colors and everything. But I think this was my most challenging piece I had to do, because painting a mountain was not easy, and then layering it and putting all that mixed media pieces. Again, here I had some textures going behind, and then I started highlighting the layers again on top with stenciling and mark making and things. So it took an extremely long time, but she was very patient, I think, and she held on to it. She said, "Don't worry." So, and it happened, and she just loved it then. Till she was happy, I kept working on it.
It's rather large as well.
Yes, it's a large piece, yeah.
Oh, and we're back to the beginning. Okay, so we can stop share. We can put on our videos again so we can see one another and so
Yeah,
on.
sure.
Thank you so much for all the sharing, Thaniath. It's very, very interesting when you hear the background and the stories behind.
Thank you. I'm open to any questions. If anybody wants to ask me, you can all come on your cameras. So I feel I'm actually addressing some people here. It's so hard working on Zoom here. So I have to thank each one of you here who have supported me. Some of you have been a driving force behind me. I want to thank Deepa, who actually published my first story. It went really viral, people from India and everyone, and that was the first time I really opened up about my journey, my healing journey, cancer. It was not easy even talking about it. I think Deepa really helped me with that. And then I have other people here, so many of you, family who really trusted on me, saying, you can do this. And I painted for them, for other clients. And yeah, these 3 years have been really different. And again, I have to thank my life experiences to be able to paint and actually really come here and sit and talk like this to you all. It's been a journey.